and that they're being, thank you for recording that, Erynne. I knew I was going to forget that. Yeah, so we're talking about leads now that we're recording. Tonight we're talking about working the leads to the bone. What does it look like to take a lead that you've purchased or leads that have been given to you, and how to exhaust those leads to make sure that you're being as profitable on them? Let's face it, nobody at the end of the day wants to sit there and spend money on leads and not see hardly any profitability on them. You want to make sure that your ROI, your return of interest, your profitability is as big as possible as you can get, whatever you spend on your leads, whether it's $100 or $500 or $1,000 a week, like we've been talking about, how, you know, different agents come in with different goals, with different objectives, different financial resources. And so whether you're spending a little or a lot on leads, what I'm going to talk about here over the next few minutes is how you can maximize utilizing those leads to be as profitable as possible with what we do here in the Alliance. First off, I want to give a shout out to Kevin Quintero. Kevin is here in Greenville. He is on the Legacy Life team. And Kevin is brand new with us, like literally licensed over the holidays. Got his license over the holidays, and January started getting plugged in, getting contracted. And last week, Kevin was over here at the house doing some training. We sat down, did some dials. What I've got written here, I'm going to touch on at the end here if we have time. But Kevin was over here doing some dialing with me, and we took a stack of old leads that I've had for since 2021. So some of these leads 2021, some of them 2022. And if you look on the bottom, most of them received in 2022 were received in January, February, March of 2022. We are now in January, February, March of 2025. So do some simple math. 25 minus 22 is 3. These leads are 3 years old. This is what's left after the other rest of the stack. I kid you not, it was about 160, 170 leads. And I gave those to Kevin, and I said, Kevin, these are old leads. I'm going to be real with you. People sent these in 2, 3, almost 4 years ago. Some of them have been dialed, some of them have never been dialed, but their leads and people's situations, their life events have changed since then. So I'm going to teach you how to dial these leads, and then I'm going to give the rest of them to you and let you go dial them. So that was last week. Kevin took the rest of the leads that I gave him, minus this stack, because I'm working this stack still. And Kevin went back home to his house, and today he dialed through those leads, and he sent me a message a little bit ago. And he said, wrapping up my dialing session for the day, 117 dials, 11 contacts, 5 appointments set. 5 appointments set off of 11 contacts. So he booked almost half of the people that he talked to. And you can see here, these leads are 3 to 4 years old. So when an agent tells me, well, I just can't book appointments because I'm calling old leads, and I'm going to tell you, you need to go talk to Kevin, because Kevin Q, whatever you want to refer to him as, Kevin went and took 3 to 4 year old leads, did his very first independent dial session today all by himself. Mark wasn't there coaching, listening, nothing. And he booked half of the people that he talked to off of old leads. That ratio is not normal. That is above normal. I would have been tickled pink if he'd have booked 1 appointment off of those leads, and he went and booked 5 out of the 11 people he talked to. And so the point being, when I share Kevin's story, is, one, don't tell me that old leads don't work. Old leads are incredible. People's life events have changed. They're super cheap. In this case, they were free to him. Leads are leads are leads. Whether they're old leads, new leads, internet, paper, whatever they are, leads are leads are leads. And remember, we've always said the purpose of a lead is to just make a phone call and book an appointment. It's just to get in the home. You don't need to try and analyze. You don't need to try and interpret. I mean, think about it. He's calling 3 to 4 year old leads. So when he's got a lead that says, hey, this person's 76 and their spouse is 72, well, now they're all pushing 80. 3 to 4 year old leads. So he's not sitting there analyzing, well, you know, are they going to answer? Are they not? Are they too old? He's just calling and doing how he's instructed, and he's booking appointments. And off of 3 to 4 year old leads, my man Kevin, brand new to insurance, not just brand new to Legacy Life, brand new to insurance, went and booked almost half of the old leads that he's been calling today on his first dial session. And I am just fired up out of my mind because Kevin's special. He's a good dude. Like, he's a go-getter. He's a hustler. But the thing I'm fired up about is this system works. This business works. We teach you how to do this business. If you're willing to be teachable and you're willing to go in and put in the effort, it works. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not, there's nothing earth-shattering about it, but it's also not, it's not hard work. Those of you that think about where you came from, I used to do electrical work. I'd crawl around in attics and crawl spaces in 140, 150 degree temperatures inside those attics and crawl spaces just to run electrical wire so somebody could have power. And I was getting paid $10.25 an hour to do it. That was hard work. That was back-breaking work. I've got 2 back surgeries to prove it. It was exhausting. It was tiresome. It was hard. And my man's sitting here in the comfort of his own heat in his own house in cold South Carolina. He's out there and booked these appointments. So I'm telling you, leads are leads are leads. They work. The question is, are you willing to work? And I mean, I see other names on this call, Jason, Eli. I mean, people that are just absolutely killing it. Rashida, I see you on there. We chatted a few weeks ago. I'm just telling you, like, this business just works. And if you're willing to take what's being taught and keep it simple and not try and complicate it, not try and make excuses, if you'll go to work, the business works for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the next 15, 20 minutes or so and talk about these leads that we have in front of us. How do you work them to the bone? Now, the ones I'm going to talk about right now are the direct mail leads. Eric Belair is going to talk some more next week. And he's going to share his side of internet leads as well and how you can follow up on this, but on those, but particularly tonight, we're going to be focusing on direct mail leads. These are leads that people have actually received in their mailbox. They've taken pen and paper and written their information down, signed them, sent them back into us and said, hey, this is important. I need this. Can you help me? How do you work those leads to the bone? And at the end of the day, there is no no substitute for dialing. There's no substitute for dialing. In order to go make this thing work, you have to put in the work. You can't just buy leads and say, hey, I spent $1,000 on leads. I'm good. I did the hard part. I came up with the money. Now you got to go to work. Now you got to go turn those leads into the appointments, and from the appointments, the people like you and trust you. They've already got an interest in what we do and the insurance products that we have. They just need somebody that they can trust and that they can like, that has the resources and the ability to help them, and that's where we come into play. So once you buy your leads, once you have leads given to you, however you got leads, you have to go to work. We can, just like the old saying, you can take a horse to water, you can lead him to water, but you can't take the water for him. You can't drink for him. He's got to be the one to drink. You can pour me a glass of bourbon. You can't drink it for me. I got to drink it myself. And I will have no problem doing that. So when you go to dial these leads, remember, you have to put in the work. You dial, dial, dial. You don't just dial one time and say, oh, I tried them. They didn't answer, or I started to dial and I hung up. Oh, that's a dial. Be real with yourself. Be real. Don't sit there and play games. Follow through with what we teach and go dial and work the lead. So when you dial, it's very simple. You see the number on the lead? It's right there. You put it in your trusty phone and you dial it and you hit send. You let it ring 4 times. When it goes to voicemail, listen to the voicemail once. Why do you listen to the voicemail? You listen to the voicemail to hear if it's a personalized voicemail, how they address themselves. So if on the lead, his name is, no lie, Gerald Sanborn, see it? Gerald Sanborn. When I call Gerald and I get his voicemail, I'm going to listen to it until I hear if it's personalized or if it's just automated. If it says, you have reached 864, I'm hanging up and I'm dialing again. If the voicemail says, hey, this is Jerry, sorry you missed me, call me back or leave me a voicemail and I'll get back in touch with you, that gives me the information that next time I get in touch with Jerry, I'm not saying, hey, Gerald. I'm not saying Mr. Sanborn. It's, hey, Jerry, that sense of familiarity. Jerry is sitting there trying to figure out who knows me as Jerry. I don't recognize this voice. Those are just little tips where when I'm dialing, I'm listening to a voicemail once. Do they personalize it? How do they address themselves? If they don't, hang up, boom, boom, dial again. Most cell phones, when you hit the red button and you hang up and you hit the green button, the number pops up that you just dialed. You hit the green button again and it redials, so you don't have to type it all in. If you didn't know it, this call's been worth it for you already. So you just boom, boom, redial. If it goes to voicemail again, I don't need to hear him say, hey, this is Jerry. Sorry you missed me. I already know he goes by Jerry. I've made a note on my lead to call him Jerry, and I hang up and I dial him a third time, 3 times in a row. Mark, why do you dial 3 times in a row? I dial 3 times in a row because salespeople don't dial 3 times in a row. If people are trying to call you and sell you a product or get in touch with you about something, who are the ones that dial 3 times in a row? The people that have an emergency, the people that are trying to get in touch with you. Those are the ones that are blowing your phone up. Hey, I've got to get in touch with this person. I've got to find out if the insurance needs that they have. I've got to get to them. All they see is, hey, somebody's dialing me over and over, like this is important, I better answer this, right? Android users, I've got an Android. I use it sparingly for office stuff, but my iPhone that I use primarily, I know with iPhones, they've got a safety feature. I don't know if it's safety feature, if you'd call it that, but they've got a feature where when somebody has their iPhone turned on silent mode or do not disturb, if you dial a number and it sends you straight to voicemail, if you dial it again immediately, then iPhone will their software actually lets that call go through because they're assuming, hey, if somebody's got me on do not disturb, but they're trying to get in touch with me because it's important, Apple will let that call go through to the individual anyway. So that's another tidbit as, hey, why do you dial 3 times in a row? Because that first dial is the dial that a salesperson makes. When somebody's trying to solicit you for information, for sales or whatever, when they're trying to solicit you, they're sending you that one quick phone call and they're gone. They're off. They don't care. They're just trying to make the next sale with the next number. But when you dial multiple times in a row, people realize, hey, somebody's trying to get in touch with me. The only people that are trying to get in touch with me are the people that are trying to get in touch with me, right? And so people will answer their phone calls on that second or third try when they see the same number calling over and over again. Now, obviously, we don't want to go to the extreme and dial 16 times in a row. So I tell people, hey, dial 3 times in a row. That's 3 dials. Make sure you dialed the right number, 3 dials. And that's 3 dials to that individual. If they don't answer, boom, I'm on to the next lead. And it's 3 dials in a row on that lead as well. If they don't answer on those 3 dials, I've now made 6 dials off of 2 leads, and I'm on to the next one. So the purpose of dialing multiple times in a row is so that you can get people to answer, to bypass that security feature. And also because people realize, hey, most people that are trying to sell me something or people that don't really need me, yeah, they might call, they might leave a voicemail, whatever, but they're not calling multiple times in a row. So that's why we teach it the way we do. And when you do that, that's 3 individual dials. Um, so dial, dial, dial. There's no substitute for dialing. You have to get in touch with these clients in order to book the appointments to go make the sale. People ask me all the time, well, when do you stop dialing a lead? When do you give up on it? When do you say, hey, I can't do anything else on that? Here's my typical what's been tried and true proven for me. I'm going to share it with you. You can feel free to go copy, duplicate that, teach it to your agents. If you find a little bit of a different way that tweaks and works for you, cool. You want to teach that to your agents? Cool. I'm just telling you what's worked for me over the last 14 years. Man, I see Donnell, Earl on here. These are killers in the business. These are people, I see new people on here. Kelsey, glad you're able to join on. Barrett, man, this is incredible, guys. I'm telling you, this is one solid team. I love what we got going on here. So when I dial these leads, typically if I dial 3 times in a row, let's say I'm doing a morning session dial and I dial 3 times in a row and they don't answer, and I've gone on to the next lead, when that morning session is done, whether it's 8 to 10, 8 to 10:30, whatever, I'm taking a little bit of a break and now I'm doing my next dial session. I'm dialing those same leads again. I'm dialing 3 times each. I'm letting these people know, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with you. This is important. Remember, typical salespeople are not blowing your phone up. They're trying to be courteous. They're trying to be, hey, I kind of want to get in touch with you, but I still want to make a sale, so I'm not going to piss you off and get you mad at me. And we dial 3 times in a row, and then we go on to the next, and then we call through those all again in the next dial session, in the afternoon session. Then we do it again in the evening session. So it's not uncommon when you're dialing, dialing, dialing to book these appointments, it's not uncommon to dial the same lead different times throughout the day, 3 times per session, whatever. I might put 9, 12, sometimes even 15 dials over the course of a whole day on one lead. And guess what that individual is going to see? That individual is going to see, holy crap, who's trying to get in touch with me? Like who's trying to reach out, and somebody's got some information that I need to know because they're blowing my phone up. And that's when you get callbacks. And so I'm going to dial a lead 3 times every session, and I'm going to do that until I get the appointments that I need. Or if I have to do it into the next week, I'll do it into the next week. But here's the deal: you don't want to sit on a lead too long without making an effort to go do a drive-by. If I've got somebody that they just never answer, and I've dialed that lead probably 25, 30 different times over the course of 2 weeks, and they've never answered, 2 weeks is really a sufficient time to be able to decide, hey, are there different days that maybe they're not working that day? Maybe they just one week was super busy, this week's not as busy. And so you're able to get in touch with them. If in 2 weeks tops, I've not gotten in touch with a lead, boom, they go into my drive-by pile. And at the top, I'll just write DB, drive by, DB. What do you do when you drive by leads? I'm glad you asked. You take these little delivery notices with you. And these little delivery notices you can leave on the doors of people that have sent the form in requesting information. They are asking you for help. So when you go and you show up at their door, because remember, they're not answering the phone, and you're out running appointments the next week or that week, and those clients, those leads in that drive-by pile have not been answering their phone, I'm locating where their address is on Google Maps. And when I'm running my appointments, when I see that, hey, these 2 or 3 leads over here, they're in that area, I'm running appointments. In between appointments, guess who's getting a drive-by? Guess who's getting me showing up at their door, knocking on their door with the request that they sent to us for information. Now, here's the beauty of it. Let's say they're at work, they're not home, they're at the doctor's office, so nobody comes to the door. What do? I fill this delivery notice out, and I put their name at the top, the date that I was there. You can fill out the time, 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock, whatever you want. I always check third attempt, final attempt. I check that box. I don't care if it's the first time. I check final attempt because that's my final attempt. And I put my first name and my phone number. And I rip that thing off and I stick it on their door. If they've got one of them windows at the top, I'll stick it on that because typically it sticks better to glass than it does to metal doors or wooden doors or whatever. Or sometimes right above the doorknob and the lock, there's a little gap there where the door meets the door jamb. Sometimes I can stick that in there. You want to put it where it's visible when they come walking up to their door and they can see, oh, there's a little not normal piece of paper on my door, and they pick it up and they see delivery notice from Kevin and this number. Huh, what did I order? Well, I'm going to tell you what you ordered, Becky. You ordered some information about life insurance that you signed and sent in and you asked for. And you haven't been answering the phone number that you put on the form. And I'm just doing a courtesy drop by to get you the information that you requested so that you can have the information that you asked us for. And so I'll leave these delivery notices when I go do drive-bys for people that have not answered me on the phone when I've tried to get in touch with them to book the appointment. Now, people ask me, they say, Mark, when you go and let's say you got 8 appointments in a day, and you go to your first appointment, you knock on the door, ring the doorbell, they don't answer. Do you leave a delivery notice? No, I don't. No, why? Because I had an appointment with you. If you don't answer the door, you don't acknowledge that appointment, guess what? You're getting a phone call from me within a day or two. Not right then and actually at the door, I'm calling you, hey, you home, like whatever. If you don't answer, when I'm there on your front porch, you're going to get a phone call from me again in a day or two to reconfirm and book another appointment. If I leave a delivery notice on somebody that I booked an appointment with and they just didn't answer the door, that delivery notice is going to jog their memory. Oh, yeah, I had that appointment, blah, blah, blah. And now they've got your name and your phone number written down. And if they're just like, you know what, I'll get to it later. That's just not a big deal to me right now. I'm just whatever. They're going to associate that name and number every time you call, and they're going to associate that with, oh yeah, that was the person about the final expense benefits or the mortgage protection. And it's easier for them to dodge your call when they have your number written down and they've connected. I was supposed to meet with that person this morning or yesterday or whatever. So I don't leave delivery notices if I've got an appointment booked with you and I'm coming to meet you based off of our agreement and our understanding. I don't leave a delivery notice on those. I only leave delivery notices on people that I've called and called and called, and I had to put in the drive-by pile because they're not answering the phone. Or maybe they, had a bad day. I called, they cursed me out, hung up on me, whatever. People have bad days, understanding. That goes in the drive-by pile, and I will leave delivery notices on that. Oftentimes, if people have a bad day, they're not going to associate you with a delivery notice 3 days later or a week later and be like, oh, that's the person I chewed out on the phone. No, they're not going to do that, right? We give grace, we accept grace. So leave delivery notices on doors of people that you have dialed and called and have not been able to book an appointment with because you can't have a conversation with them on the phone. Y'all tracking with me? So you dial, dial, dial. If they don't answer or if they curse you out, hang up on you, they had a bad day, I'm not trying to call them back. I'm just going to go door knock them. And if they don't answer the door knock, I'm going to leave the delivery notice. The good thing about door knocks, especially when you're running full on, full time, all the time, I'm telling you right now, I wish I could tell you the percentage or the number. I don't have one, but I'm telling you it's higher than you would think, of people that when you do these door knocks and they open the door and it's just like, Jerry, hey man, I've been trying to get in touch with y'all about this form that you filled out and sent to us, this little postcard looking thing. Um, and you put your information requesting the senior final expense benefits, and we've been trying to reach you at this number. Is that the correct number? Like when you first get them on a door knock, is that the correct number? Make sure before they even have a chance to be like, well, what's this about? Like, oh, we already got, before any of that happens. Jerry, hey, buddy, this is Mark over at the Benefit Center here in Greenville. You sent this card back in and you signed it and told us your wife's name was Kimberly and you lived at 38 Madeline Circle. And you put your phone number as 2930179. Is this still the correct number? What I want y'all to see on this particular lead, that's the number he gave us. And I did a door knock on this lead, and that number is no longer in service. It's not active anymore. So when I did the door knock, the son answered the phone, and I was able to get the correct number from the son. And guess who now has the right information to call mom and dad back next week when I'm running appointments next week? So the purpose for the drive-bys are huge because you get in touch with people that, let's face it, we're in a society today where when people move now, they don't change their cell phone numbers a whole lot because, it's just what people know me as. Everybody's got me saved in their phone as this. So I can't, if I move, I don't want to change my phone number because people know me as this. So I may move to a different state, but your phone number tends to go with you, right? Well, when you go to a different state and now you're calling to book appointments and run appointments in that state, people screen out of town calls. They think everything's spam. We get it, right? It happens. That's what the purpose of doing drive-bys is for, is you're able to get in touch and find the correct number. Sometimes people will leave a house number that they never even answer. It's just a landline that comes bundled in their AT&T package or whatever. And so they put their landline in there. Drive-bys allow you to get in touch with people who don't answer landlines or they screen their calls. And now you can get in touch with them in person at their door with their signature, their handwriting, and you can get their information and the correct phone number. So when I'm first meeting with somebody at their door on a drive-by, it's Jerry. Hey man, again, that's if I've listened to his voicemail and he addresses himself as Jerry. If I've never heard him before, heard a voicemail, it's not personalized. It's just boom, it's Gerald. Gerald, hey buddy, it's Mark over here at the Senior Benefit Center. I've been trying to get in touch with you about this information that you filled out and requested from us. And the number right here, it's either disconnected or it just keeps going straight to automated voicemail. Is that still the best number to reach you at? And of course, they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, no, you know what? Here's a better number. Get their number first. You want their direct contact so that at the very least, you know how to get in touch with them correctly through via phone. So I get their number first. And then in most cases after that, it's what was this about again? And it's just like, hey, you sent this form in. I only have about 5 minutes. Do you have a kitchen table right around the corner here? I can't tell you how many times you do door knocks and you go sit and sell the very people that you had been having a hard time getting in touch with, the very people that hadn't been answering their phone calls or gave you a BS number or whatever. That's the purpose of these drive-bys because it allows you to have a chance to get in touch with the people that have been ignoring you or shunning your phone calls for the last 2 weeks. And again, if they're not there, the beautiful thing about the delivery notices is it allows them to be able to have a way to get back in touch with you, but it's vague enough to where they're like, and sometimes people will ask me, they'll be like, delivery notices, like, you know, why wouldn't you just leave like a handwritten note or whatever? Listen, they asked for information. They reached out to us saying, hey, this is important. Can you please help us? We need this. And if I can't get in touch with them at the phone number, do you think I'm just going to be like, they gave us a phone number, it was bad, it didn't work, sorry, that's on them, tough love? No, you don't know what their situation is like. You have no idea what they're going through. You have no idea what prompted that form. I'll just give you personal life, what we're dealing with right now. 3 weeks ago, we found out that, at almost, my wife's 38, I'll be 40 in a few months. Shocker of shockers, baby number three's on the way. Wasn't supposed to happen, wasn't planning on it. Point being is life changes. Stuff happens out of nowhere. And literally 1 week after we found out that baby number three was on the way, our little 4-year-old daughter decided she was going to flip off the back of the couch and fall 12 feet down onto a bottom wooden step on her head. And we spent last Wednesday night in the emergency room, freaked out, wondering if she was going to be okay, And I'm not going to go down that hole right now because I'm still messed up over that. Um, but point being is, you never, ever, ever know what people are dealing with, what they're going through, and life happens. Things happen to people where they don't know what tomorrow holds, what the future holds. And there's a reason why they've sent this request in. So for you to just sit there and say, well, I dialed them in one session and they didn't answer, well, I couldn't get in touch with them, I couldn't get an appointment with them, that's too bad. You're not doing them a service and you're not doing yourself a service. Really follow through and make sure, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I'm doing what I can with all the resources that I have to get in front of these people, to help them out, and to make sure that they have their needs met, their concerns met, that they contacted us about. You're not soliciting, you're not cold calling, you're following up with a request for help. That's what a lead is. It is a request for help. And so when you get in front of these people, whether it's through the phone call to book the appointment, or whether it's through doing a drive-by because you couldn't get them on the phone, you need to exhaust the resources that you have to make sure that you're doing the best for everybody that you sit with, because that's who we are. We're people that care about everybody, no matter who they are, no matter where they're from. They've got a request for help. If it was me or my wife or my mom or my sister, brother, or whoever sending in a request for help, I would want the professionals, you and me, I would want them to do their damnedest to follow up and make sure that they got the help and the request that they were asking for. It's what we do as people that care for people. And so as you follow up with these leads, don't just be like, well, they never answered, whatever. You would be absolutely mind blown at the number of people. And I bet you if you asked Kevin right now, if you had his number and you could text him right now and say, dude, how many of those people that you booked appointments with said nobody ever got in touch with them? It is absolutely mind blowing the number of leads that are out there that agents pay for, and they never follow up and never get in touch with those individuals. I don't understand it. I'm not going to try to, but I'm telling you right now, this is a request for help and it's your responsibility. The onus is on you when this comes to you to make sure that you do everything you can to follow up with these clients and get them the financial protection and the life insurance help that they are asking us for. So I'm dialing. If they're not answering, I'm door knocking, I'm leaving delivery notices. And then if I've left a delivery notice, the nice thing about the delivery notices, I would say conservatively 65 to 7, 60 to 65% of the time, it's the majority for sure. 60 to 65% of the time, the people that you leave these delivery notices on their door, they will call you. They'll leave you voicemails. Some might even text you, hey, gotta know what's this about. Hey, call me real quick. Boom. Don't try and do it through texting. Don't try, it gives them time to think, it gives them time to, don't do it through texting. Call me real quick. Or you try and call them. Um, and 60 to 65% of the time, when you leave these delivery notices, these people are calling back and they're like, hey, what's this about? Whatever. Hey, you remember that form? And you go right into having that conversation again, just as if they answered the phone the first time you called to book the appointment. So if I leave a delivery notice, okay, let me say it this way. When do you stop working a lead? I stop working a lead when I've shown up to their house and I've sold them, or I've had the door shut in my face, or I've put the delivery notice on the door and they never called me back and followed up. Maybe a month or two later, it's still in my drive-by pile. I might do one more delivery notice, but I'm not chasing it down after that. If I've left at least two full, if I've left two delivery notices, I'm not going to continue chasing that lead down. I might stick it in a pile and give it to some new agents that are coming on and they're running in your area. Boom. Guess what? That client's now getting a different number calling them that they don't recognize. Maybe they've been avoiding your number, but you handed it off to your new guy, like I did to Kevin. Now they're calling from a different number that they don't recognize. And boom, what's the goal? The goal is, hey, one of us, anybody on this call, anybody on our team, the Legacy Life Group, ideally one of us gets in front of these clients and helps them get the protection and the financial services that they're asking for. And that's the value of these direct mail leads. You've got the clients' names, their most importantly, you have their handwriting right here on the lead. They can't look at that and say, no, that ain't my handwriting. Um, that's the beauty of it. So I'm doing those delivery notices and I'll put it in a pile to call maybe a few weeks, couple months down the road when they've had time to lose that number in their short-term memory. Or I'm putting it in a pile and I'm handing it off to a new agent that's coming on and giving them a chance to dial. Think about this, if I said all these leads that I had, not just these right here, but the 170 or so that I gave to Kevin last week, if I just said, oh, they didn't answer, I'll get to them eventually, I'll keep trying, maybe later, they're likely not going to hear from me. I've got current clients, I've got referrals, I've got agents calling, like I've got a pregnant wife, I've got kids falling off 12 feet, over 12 feet of balconies and ER trips, like life's busy, right? They may never hear from me again. But if I can pass those on to the next person, or another agent comes behind and says, hey, there's leads in Greenville for $2.80, and some dude bought them for 50 bucks, 60 bucks 2 years ago, I'll scoop. And that agent now gets to go and have a chance to get in touch with them. I'd rather it be our team, our agents, right? So I put those leads in different piles and let them go work them, let other agents work them. Or if I get in a slow time and I'm like, hey, leads are hard to come by. Hey, I still got old leads I can call through again and dial. A lead is a lead is a lead. It's a request for help. And you never know why agents ahead of these have never gotten in touch with these clients. I'm just telling you, there's gold mines in those leads. Kevin's got 5 appointments off of 11 people that he talked to off of 3 to 4 year old leads. Absolutely incredible on his first time dialing. He's going to be teaching these calls in a few months. I'm telling you that. Now, here's another question I get a lot. Hey, Mark, I bought a lead. I booked an appointment. I sat with the client. I went through the whole green sheet. I went through everything, found out they had current coverage, went and got them to get the coverage. They trust me. They like me. We looked at the coverage and boom, I couldn't touch it. I couldn't improve it. It was the best thing that they could get. I couldn't come in with better prices. They didn't need more. They just needed to realize somebody to confirm that what they had was best for them. Am I SOL on that lead because I can't improve their situation? Guess what? I would bet my life insurance license that the agent that sold them that policy, whether it was 6 days ago, if it's 6 days ago, you're going to beat it. Trust me. 6 months ago, we'll help you beat it. 6 years ago, we can probably still beat it. 16 years ago, and it's a whole life and the rates are great and they don't want anything else, whatever, probably not going to beat it. But 16 years ago, that agent didn't set up an ERS. What's an ERS? An ERS is Emergency Response System. An emergency response system is when I make a sale, when I sit with a client and we get the information filled out and we get them approved and boom, now we're setting up your ERS. Your ERS is 10 to 15 local friends, family, church people, people that would be the first to find out that you kicked the can, that you died overnight, that whatever happened to you. Who are the first 15 people locally that would be the first to find out that you were gone? Why do you need 15 names and numbers? I need 15 names and numbers because they're not all going to answer their phone when I call them. And I'm busy, like I've already talked about. I don't have time to keep calling all your 15 ERS names and numbers over and over and over until they answer the phone. Of those 15 ERS numbers that I get from you, I'm going to call them all. I'm going to call them all 2, 3, 4 times. Of those 2, 3, 4 times, I just need 3, 4, 5 of them to answer the phone and take my information down when I explain that I'm calling to set up your ERS so that these people who would know you were the first to know that you croaked and you died, Now I've got these 15 people I'm calling because I need just one of them to call me when you die so I can help your family get the death claim started. I can take care of all that on the back end with the insurance company while you're sitting there grieving, dealing with loss of life, dealing with the shock of I've just lost my best friend, my life partner, my son, my daughter, whoever. Like, guys, I can't, I am not going down this road, but life could be very, very different for Shannon and I right now from 2 weeks ago. It could be drastically different. We could have filed a death claim on a 4-year-old daughter. And by God's grace, she's still here and she is doing well. And I am incredibly thankful. But life could be very, very different. And even in dialing with Kevin last week, I was just like, dear God, what if these people had sent this request in 3 years ago, begging for somebody to get in touch with them, begging for somebody to help them, and nobody ever called them? Or an agent tried to call them once or twice and they didn't answer, and the agent was like, this business sucks. These leads suck. These aren't any good. And what if life would have changed drastically for that family or that individual 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years later, and they didn't have the insurance that they needed, that they were asking for, that they wanted you to come help them with? Not only are they now grieving and dealing with shock and loss of a family member, a loved one that's just turned their world upside down, and now they're in financial struggles and difficulties. They're having to take out loans from a bank to bury their kid. What we do matters. The life insurance that we sell is not just making us really good money. Making really good money is a byproduct of us covering these families and making sure these families that are crying out for help immediately have the resources and the solutions to the cry for help that they're asking for. What they need is somebody that's got a heart enough and cares enough about them to make sure that I don't care if they hang up on me. I don't care if they tell me no. I don't care if they don't answer. I view this person as somebody as I would view my family. They've got to cry for help. I've got the resources. I'm going to do my damnedest to get in front of them, whether it's door knocking, delivery notices, whatever. They are going to know that I did my best to get them the help that they asked for, because that's what we do. That's the character, that's the values, that's the integrity, that's the morals that we stand upon. That's what we do. We help everybody because everybody needs what we have. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your skin color, your sexual preference, your religious preference, political. It doesn't matter any of that. These are people that have families just like you and I have families, and they love their families and they want to protect their families and care about their families just like you and I want to protect and care about our families. So if you can just have that mentality when you call these leads, hey, this is a cry for help. This is not me trying to make a sale. This is not me trying to sound real professional. This is not me trying to just show I can call leads and book appointments and go sell insurance. No, this is a cry for help that for whatever reason, whether it's 2 days old, 2 years old, or 3, 4, 5 years old, there's a reason why that lead is still in the system and why those people still need help. And if you can take that mentality and just be like, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to take the resources that I've been given, and I'm going to get in front of these people no matter what, or I'm going to do everything I can to get in front of them to work these leads to the bone, to the point that if I sit with them and they already have the best coverage possible. Now, hear me out. I'm going to just throw this little interjection in there and then we're going to wrap up. 85 to 90% of the people I sit with that have existing life insurance, hear me out very clearly, 85 to 90%, I've got something better for them. 85 to 90% of the time. In that 10 to 15% of the time that I've looked at their coverage, they didn't just say, well, I got this, and you take their word for it. No, you get them to get it. You call the insurance company right there with them if they don't have their paperwork, and you find out exactly what they have. If I can't improve their situation, you think I'm just going to be like, I spent whatever, 40, 50, 60 bucks on this brand new lead, and they've already got a policy. So, well, at least I tried. I got to sit with them and they're covered at least. No, that other agent, I guarantee you, did not set up an emergency response network or emergency response system. They didn't set it up. They never set it up. And all you got to do is say, hey, did that other agent that helped you, did they leave an emergency response system with you? Did they set that up for you? Yeah, I don't know what that is. What's an emergency response system? And that's an opportunity for you to sit there and say, hey, I need 10 to 15 names of local friends and family. I know I didn't sell you this policy, but when you pass away, I know exactly how to get in touch with the insurance company and make sure that this pays out to your family. So I'm not touching your policy. What you have is great. Don't let anybody take it from you. It's the best thing. It's the best thing for you. Don't let anybody touch it or take it. But we're going to set up your emergency response system because it looks like they never did that. And I want to make sure that your family gets this taken care of right away so they don't have to struggle through all this and they can focus on celebrating you and your life. I got in this business 14 years ago. 8 months into the business, I was running appointments down in Anderson, South Carolina, and I was sitting in a home. It was a large Black family. I was sitting in a home and I was writing coverage on the granddaughter. The granddaughter was 72 years old. She had sent the lead in. And so I'm writing coverage on her and her husband on the couch. And right across the couch from us in the living room was Grandmom. Grandmom was 109 years old. And I looked at her state ID. She wasn't driving at the time, bless her heart. I looked at her state ID and she was legit 109 years old when I sat with that family. I didn't have an insurance opportunity for her. I couldn't sell her anything. She was supposed to have been gone long ago. And she was 109 years old. The next year, when I called them to follow up on a phone call, I didn't get to sit with them that next year, but they were taking Grandmom to the beach for her 110th birthday. Took her to Myrtle Beach for her 110th birthday. Now, this was back in 2012, 2013. I'm sure she's long passed by then. But in that family, I was able to help, in that case, help the the granddaughter and her husband. And we set up an emergency response system. You know what their emergency response system was? It was a freaking church directory. She brought out a church directory that legit had over 80 to 90 different families. And she said, here, these are the people that are going to be the first to find out I passed away. And in that church directory is all the families and their names and numbers. And guess who went working through that ERS and had more appointments set up from an ERS off of one lead? My point is, maybe you call a lead and you book an appointment and you go sit it and you're like, man, I couldn't sell it. They actually had what was best for them. I verified it. They were in that 10 to 15% that just you couldn't touch what they had. Hey, did you set up an ERS? Did you set up an ERS? Why not? Because you're looking for a sale. Oh, I couldn't make a sale. I got to cut bait and go to the next one. You're not doing right by the client. You're not taking care of their family. You just didn't make a sale, so you're trying to go make a quick buck at the next one. Well, what I didn't know, well, you know now, set up the ERS. When you're in a home and you can't make a sale or don't make a sale because that client already says they have the best, and whether you verified it or not, you're just like, well, they said that. Set up an ERS. First off, find out what they have. We teach you how to do that, and we'll have more trainings on that. Set up an ERS. Who cares if you wrote the policy? I have ERSs on file that if anybody calls me from an ERS and I didn't sell them, I'm still going to help that family because that was a commitment I made. I may not be able to call insurance company X that I don't represent and get all the details of the policy and all that kind of stuff, but at the very least, I can help this family get in touch with that insurance carrier and I can help them know, hey, here, we got to call this claims department. I'll call them with you. Let's get this figured out. We need to make sure this. You think that if you go the extra little step and do that, you don't think that's going to get rewarded? First off, God sees, He knows. He'll reward you, He'll take care of that. But I'm telling you right now, when you're willing to go the extra mile, even on something you think, oh, I couldn't make a sale, they had the best coverage, whatever, I couldn't. Did you set up their ERS? Because I'm telling you, nobody else does that. That is something that our organization that we train and we teach. I've never heard another organization train how to do that. And if they do, most of their agents don't give a crap to do it because I don't sit in homes. I've swear to God, I've never sat in a home and seen an ERS that another agent had already filled out and have or a family say, yep, that agent they already got 10, 15 names and numbers for all my local friends and family. They've already got that set up. They call me and do annual reviews. Like that's my person. If I ever get that, I'm like, hey, if that's your person, why are you not calling them instead of sending these forms in? You're still sending forms in. So why are you not following up with your agent? You're still sending their, the reality is they don't have that tight knit connection with their agents because their agent came in and slung an app 6, 7, 8 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. They slung an app and they'll never hear from them again. That's what insurance agents do. They go sling an app, they make a sale, boom, on to the next. And it's just boom, 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 assembly line, onto the next, got to get the next, make the next buck, blah, blah, blah. They don't they don't care about their families like we teach how to care about your families and how to follow through to where these family knows, hey, man, this person came in here. I had already had insurance. I thought I was good, and they helped me realize I didn't have an ERS set up. They called my ERS. I know more about this agent now than the one that sold it several years ago. And when I die, I want my family getting in touch with this person, or hey, I've tried to get in touch with that agent. I can't. Like, you're here now. Like, can you help us? Can you help my family? Can you help get coverage? My coverage might be good, but can you help my sister, my cousin, my mom? What we do matters, guys. What we do, genuinely caring about people, no matter who they are, being real with them and just viewing them and appreciating them as, hey, if you were my family, like I want you being cared for the same way. Because again, no matter who we are, what our preference is or our background, we all have families, we all have concerns, we all have, and we care. And we care not only about these, we care about each other. Like I see names on here, and I don't just know y'all, I know a lot of your kids. Some of y'all I don't know yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting y'all because we care about each other, because that's who we are. That's what we do. And so set up an ERS even in a home that some agent has already sold, and you might not make an initial buck right then and there making a sale, but you can help set up an ERS and have that opportunity to follow up with their friends, their family, and be able to get in their homes and help them as well, because nobody else is doing that like we're doing here in the insurance industry. And so what I want y'all to see just in these, holy crap, is it 9:48? God, I got to get better at whittling stuff down. I'm sorry, guys. I said 20, 25 minutes and I've gone double that. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. What I want you to take away from this, you got to work. Getting the leads is the first step. Once you got them, go work them. My boy Kevin got a bunch of free leads. Didn't cost him a thing. He's already got appointments booked for tomorrow. And he and I are going to be working those. He's going to be calling me tomorrow all day, blowing my phone up. I want him to. I encourage that. Y'all blow my phone up. I want you to. You can't get in touch with your upline, blow my phone up. That's what we're here for. And so these are request cries for help that people send in. Your job is not to call that lead one time, two times, three times, and they didn't answer. And so, whoops, sorry, they're out of luck. I got to go to the next one. Your job is to follow up with these people to the best that you can with all the resources that you've been taught on these calls and other trainings and recorded videos. Your job is to call these people and to do everything in your power and in your knowledge to make sure that they get the help that they are asking us for. And if you'll do that through dialing and working the leads, doing drive-bys for people you haven't been able to get in touch with, and you can leave a delivery notice on their door, that leads to a lot of sales as people call you back, as you go knock on a door because they didn't answer and they're home. Hey, I need 5 minutes to go over this information. Where's your kitchen table at? Go in and sit down and boom, make the sale. You make the sale, get the ERS set up, get the referrals, ask them. That's just taking that one lead, and now you're getting referrals, ERS, family that needs it. That's just free ROI. That's free income, extra commissions off of the one lead that you've already gone and helped them with and made the sale on. You can't make the sale because what they have is best for them. Again, that's only 10 to 15% of the time at most. But if that's the case, they didn't have an ERS set up their ERS. There's more referrals. Think about this. If you have one lead that you get in front of, whether you sell them or not, if you set up an ERS, boom, there's 8, 10, 15 more names and numbers right there. You go run 8 appointments in a day and you set up an ERS in all 8 appointments that you sit, whether you sold them or whether they already had coverage and you couldn't improve it, but you set the ERS up, let's just say you do 10 on 8 appointments, you finish the day with 80 more phone numbers and contacts, 80, 8, 0, or sorry, 8, 0, 80 to go call in addition to your leads. You're going to get off the lead system real quick. And again, these are the last leads I was purchasing about 4 years ago. And it just got to where the majority of these leads that I bought brand new at 60, 70 bucks a pop when they were just coming in every single week back in 21, 22 at the last, I couldn't call them. I couldn't call them. I had referrals, I had ERSs, I had as much business as I wanted to run to my little heart was content. I could not call them all. And so don't ever just look at a lead and be like, well, I bought it for super cheap, or my agent gave it to me and they're 2 to 3 years old and just these got to be crappy because they're so. With that mindset, you're going to struggle. But if you look at it and say, hey, this is a cry for help, and my gosh, it's been 3, 4 years and they still haven't got help, let's get on it. And that's what Kevin did, and he's going to go help them tomorrow. So, guys, really working the leads to the bone. I'm just telling you right now, there is so much gold in these leads that if you'll take the principles of what we teach, keep it simple, but you got to put the work in. Dial, dial, dial. You can't get in touch with them, do drive-bys. You'll make sales on drive-bys. You can't get them to answer the door, leave a delivery notice. You get in a home on somebody, whether it was a drive-by, a callback from a delivery notice, or they book the appointment on the lead and they've already got good coverage. You've put eyeballs on it, you verified it, you couldn't see it, or you called the insurance company and they verified this is what they had, and you talk through what their needs are and you decide together, hey, what you have is best for you. I can't improve it. You don't really need extra coverage at this point. You've told me that, like, we're good here. Hey, let's set your ERS up. Go the extra mile, show these people you care. Remember, people don't care what you know till they know that you care. Go the extra mile, help them out. I promise, 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 promise you, you're going to end up with more contacts than you know what to do with, which is going to lead to, I won't say more money than you know what to do with, but you're not going to stress about financial problems as much as you're stressing right now. I'm just telling you right now, they're here. You got to care about people, love people, no matter who they are. Make sure you're out there helping them, protect them. It's a cry for help. It's not a solicitation to come sell me. It's a cry for help. You get a cry for help from a little kid, from a baby, whatever, boom, you're making sure that need's met. What's the big distraction, the big barrier in all this? I'm just, man, it's new. I'm new to this. It's nerve-wracking. What if they hang up on me? What if they cuss me out? Yeah, sometimes they will. Not often. Sometimes they will. Whatever. On to the next. On to the next. You know, I'm going to do a drive-by. I'm going to try and get you in person. You close the door in my face. All right, on to the next. On to the next. Guess what? This is going in a pile, and somebody's going to call you in a little bit. Maybe you won't be as much of an ass to them as you were to me. I don't know, but it's on to the next. But don't give up on a lead. Don't give up on a cry for help until you know, hey, I've exhausted all the resources that I have, or that I could, to get in front of them and help them out. And when it was just obvious, I'm not the one that was able to do it. I'm giving it on to somebody else that's going to go call them next, and somebody else that's going to be able to help them. So, guys, I'm way sorry that went way over. I just, man, that was I felt like that was some good stuff that needed to be shared. Hopefully, that's been able to be helpful to y'all. Y'all got my phone number. Blow it up. Blow your upline up. These are cries for help. We want your cries for help to help these cries for help. Let us know how we can help you. But hopefully, you can take some of this and realize, hey, these are people just like me, just like my family, the situations we've been going through in the last week or two. And just, I mean, some of it's just, God willing, it doesn't snow hard enough to keep me from going to Houston this weekend. We're supposed to get some wintry weather Wednesday into Thursday morning. And I've got a flight that leaves Thursday morning out of Asheville to Houston. And Asheville's supposed to get dumped with about 5 to 6 inches of snow tomorrow into Thursday morning. So, God willing, weather cooperates. I'm going to be in Houston doing some training. If you got people in Houston or you're going to be in Houston, we're going to be doing a big lineup of training there on Saturday, this coming Saturday. We do have our team training coming up in Vegas. We're shooting for the 1st of May. We're going to come out with the dates on that and finalize that here this week. But you want to be in Vegas if you can with the team. That's going to be some incredible training there. I just look at this list. There's studs on this list. People that know how to sell, people that care. Nikki, Eli, Jason, Jessica. I mean, my gosh, there's just Earl, Donnell. I mean, there's a line, Barrett. There's so many people on this call right now that just, I know you got the right heart. I know you care about people, and we got the resources to do it. And I know it's supposed to be shorter, but it's longer tonight, par for the course for me. But I just want to share what's on my heart, just with the resources that we have to go out and help these families and utilize what we have. And I'm telling you, just trust me on this, 15 years in this business, when you go do what's right by people, the money takes care of itself. The money always takes care of itself, but you got to have the right heart to go out and help people. So I won't keep y'all. I know y'all got family to get to, but seriously, reach out any way we can help. We're here to love to help y'all. And next week, we're going to have Eric Belair. He's hosting the call next week, or I'm sorry, we're going to be hosting and have him as a guest on the call. If you saw Eric's talk at NatCon in January on leads and utilizing leads, he's going to come in and recap a lot of that. A lot of good feedback from that talk. So we're excited to have him here with us next week. All right, guys, I'll let you get to it. I'm going to end this thing. I've gone way too long. Love you guys. We'll talk soon.